So when I built this camper truck, I put the water system in place and I got it working, but some of it was sort of makeshift or temporary. So now I'm going to go in and finish it up. I actually have two projects that I have to do. Let me show you. Hey everybody, this is Bill with Live Simple, Live Free. I'm going to finish up this water project. Let me show you what I've got here. Underneath the truck, right here, I have my 30-gallon waste tank. It's a gray tank, not a black tank. It's a gray tank because we have a composting toilet. We don't need a black tank, but this gray tank is for the shower and the water, and the sink. And let me show you what I've got underneath of here. I've actually got two different ways to drain this tank. One is right here. This is a 1/2-inch drain, and this is an electronic valve. And it's designed in such a way that when I'm inside, I can just flip a switch that opens this valve and drains the water out here. Now, like I said, this is a gray tank, not a black tank, and we do use all biodegradable soap in there. So this can safely be drained just right onto the ground in certain situations. You don't always want to do that, but that's a fast and easy way to drain it. The other way is the more traditional way from right here, and I have this valve here, which is a traditional type valve that goes there. Now, I did have it working, but the thing, it wasn't tight enough and it kept sagging and there was a leak in there, and so on the road I removed that and put this plug in here. So right now the only way I have to drain it is with that. I want to reinstall this and get it working properly so that when I go into an RV park that has sewer, I can actually hook up the sewer line. There's no way to hook up the sewer line to this little thing. So for now, I'm going to get this one working again. So first I just need to get this plug out of here. Now I did drain this for the winter, but there might still be a little bit of water left at the bottom. I don't know. Okay, so now I've got two different ways to drain the tank. One is from this drain where I just push a button and it drains, and then the other one is from here where I would hook my hose on there and send it to the drain, the sewer in the full service, full hookup RV park. So I'm happy with that. So I've got some switches here on the wall. This one is 110 for the hot water heater. When I turn it on, that light comes on, so I know it's on. And then over here we have kitchen. That's the kitchen lights up above, up there. Spotlight, that's the outside light on this side. And then over here we have pump and dump. Pump is the water pump that gives me pressure for the sink and shower, and then the dump is to open up that electric valve down in the down on the waste tank. Now another thing I need to do is to install another water fill valve here. There should be two different ones. This one is the one that you hook up your hose if you're going to be on city water. If you're at an RV park and you just hook it up like this, turn on the water, and the water goes full time right into your sink or your shower or whatever. This should not go into the tank, the freshwater tank. There should be another one here that I use to fill the freshwater tank, which is different. With this one, if I want to put something into the freshwater tank like antifreeze or something to sanitize it like bleach or hydrogen peroxide, there's no way I can put it in here. So the other one for the fill is much larger, and instead of screwing the hose on, you stick the hose down in the tube. But that also allows me to pour in a gallon of antifreeze when I'm winterizing it, that sort of thing. I only have the one right now because I ran out of time when I was getting ready to go on our trip last summer. So I put in this one and I just ran it right directly to the tank. So the only way I can get water to the shower right now is to fill the tank. I can't just plug in to the city water and do it that way. Let me take you inside and show you what I mean. Okay, so here we are inside. I took this bench seat apart, 30-gallon tank down underneath of here. Now, this is the fill valve that I have right now. You see that this is half-inch pipe. Comes down here and right into there to fill that. This is actually the pipe that I'm going to have to use. This is 1.5 inches, and I need to hook it to this, put another valve or another fill thing out there, and then this, which will be for the city water, will have to hook into this pipe right here. See, right there's the pump right here, and there's a backflow preventer in there. So if I take the city water and splice it into this, that'll pressurize this, so it'll give me water in the shower and the sink, but it won't go back into the tank because it can't go backwards through that pump. So I got to put in the new bigger hose, take the smaller hose, cut it off, tie it in down there. Then we should be all set, good to go. Okay, it can be really hard to get this pipe off of this. This is a barbed fitting, so I'm pulling against the barbs, and especially because of the way it's located, I can't get good leverage. So I'm not going to be reusing this, so I'm just going to cut it off. Of course, I have to cut it before I can unscrew this, but I'm going to cut it in there as close as I can. Okay, so this is the new fitting for the larger pipe. And I'm afraid this is going to be a real problem because I don't have enough room. I don't think there's room to get this in like that. So I'm going to have to put an elbow on, and there's not enough room for that. So I'm going to have to try to cut this off somewhere, and hopefully I can leave a barb or two. If I cut it off like right here on both sides, maybe I'll have enough room to get that in there. The tank is already that way as far as it'll go up against that back wall. So if I can't fit this in here, I'm going to be in trouble. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably just have to go back to the smaller pipe. Then I wouldn't be able to put any kind of antifreeze or anything in here. All right, there is enough room if I cut off there and cut off here. Can maybe leave 1 or 2 barbs on each side. But you know what? There might be enough room that I can actually get this in here. Yeah, I think that'll actually work. Although I might actually have to take the tank out in order to install that. Let's see if I can get that on there. No, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to take this out and take the whole tank up so I can put that on there. But I think that's better than putting in an extra fitting like that. Ouch. This is the vent hose I got to get off so I can lift this out of here. Okay, got that vent hose off. Yeah. All right, that's not going to go on like that. I'm going to have to take this thing out so I can get more leverage on the hose. All right, that's just simply not going to go on. Okay, so the next option is to try to heat up the hose with a torch so that it gets softer and it'll stretch a little bit over that. I really didn't want to do that because I had this tank, but I did not have this nozzle. I had to go buy the nozzle so that I can heat this up. See how this works. You got to make it soft without burning it. Oop. Yeah. See, I melted it. It's not going to work either. Now it's too soft. Okay, so the next thing is to try to put some kind of lubricant on there to make it slide easier. I don't want to use WD-40 or oil or anything like that because this is our water supply. I don't want that in there, so I'm going to try some butter. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I put way too much butter on there. Way too much butter. Well, I'm stumped. Inch and a half. I just want to make sure this is inch and a half and not inch and a quarter. It is inch and a half and so is this, but it just won't go on. Okay, so I've just spent like the past 15 minutes pressing this against the wall as hard as I could and then doing this, pushing on the little thing, one little thing at a time. And it is kind of starting to move on there. I would like to be able to go further all the way up, but at least now I've got it past the barbs, so I think it'll be fine if I put this hose clamp on there on the barbs. I think it'll be fine just like that. That was hard won. All right, let's try this again. I'll screw this back on now with the hose in place. I've put more pipe dope on there. All right, I wanted to get that screwed in as far as I could, not only to make sure it doesn't leak, but also to leave room for this hose to make this turn. Okay, so this is in place now, and there is just a tiny little bit of a kink right there. Not really kink, just a little bit narrower. But I think that's much better than trying to squeeze in that other elbow. There just wasn't room for that. And this is going to give, there's still plenty of volume of water that will be able to get through that turn right there. So that's looking good. All right, so now I'm going to take this hose that used to hook here, and I'm going to cut it in right there and put a T in there. All right, so now I've got that hooked up right there. I wasn't able to get the camera in there when I did that. Let's check it out and see if it works. Okay, I've checked this out and I don't see any leaks down here. Haha. Cold, hot. So this is the fitting that goes on the end of this hose right here. You can see it's large enough that I can actually just take a hose and stick it down in there, or put in a funnel to pour bleach or something down in there. And this needs to go right here, right next to the other one. Unfortunately, there's a stud right there, but I'm going to be able to cut through that because it's a 2x2 stud, and the outside wall is just a 3/4 inch plywood, and the 2x2 stud is nailed and screwed to the plywood. So if I cut out a section of the stud right there, it won't matter. I can't move this over here because unfortunately this hose is too short to fit over there. It can only go right here. I ordered this 3-foot piece of hose. The next piece was 6 feet long. It would have been a lot of waste, and I didn't think it was necessary. But this is a little bit shorter. I wish this was about 6 inches longer, but I think I can make it work right here. So I'm going to put it right next to here. I'm going to take this gasket off just so that I can trace it. Right, like that. So that's where the hole goes. Then I have a 3-inch hole saw here. I want to try to get it lined up with this the best I can, just by eye. Make sure it's not too close. I'm going to move it over just a little bit. All right, so there's the stud that I'm drilling through. It's tough. Almost through. Ah. All right, I'm through. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is 3 inches and about a 1/16 of an inch. Unbelievable. So I went out and bought that 3-inch hole saw specifically to cut this hole. And I realized it was 3 inch and a 1/16. I would have bought a 3 1/4 hole saw. Now I got to do this by hand. What a pain. All right, there we go. Guess that wasn't too bad. Now this has got a rubber gasket here, so that should be all I need. I shouldn't have to put any kind of sealer in there. Okay, locking caps and nobody can pour stuff in my tank. So now I can fill the tank here, or I can go with city water here. Have you seen one of these? I got this to go here. When you screw the hose in, instead of the hose coming out and bending down, you put this on, then you can screw the hose to that, and it relieves some of the stress on the hose. I'll put a link to this. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the description. Okay, so now this is all finished. City water goes down and hooks into the main line down there to pressurize the system, or the tank filler comes down here. Now right here, there's a little thing there for a vent. You can put a vent hose from there down to the tank so that it won't get back, filled with air and it won't fill properly. But I already had a vent right here when I had the old system, and this vent runs up here so it won't, run out, and then it goes all the way down through the floor and hangs down underneath. So if water ever gets in there, it'll drop out onto the ground. So I think this is all finished. Now I just have to put the bench back together again. So now that I have this water system completely finished, I think I am completely finished with all the systems and the upgrades and fixes that I need to do with all of the major systems in the truck. So I think the only thing I have left to do is paint. I got to paint this kind of stuff, and then put in the moldings, the corner moldings all the way around, and then the flooring. I think that's it. So we're coming down to the wire. Thanks for watching. Live simple, live free. You be blessed. We'll see you next time.